Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with a higher vibrational podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Hey, welcome everybody. We're so happy to see you here on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on the Healthy Lifestyle and Spirituality and Authors podcast. And I'm your host, Sherry Lord. We have an amazing guest. You're just going to love her. And I love her. And you are going to love her and everything she has to share with us. And her name is Tricia Nelson. And her topic is Heal Your Hunger. How to End Emotional Eating Now. This is amazing. Welcome, Trish. We're so happy to have you on our show. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you, and we all can use this. And can you tell our audience a little bit about you and how this all unfolded and how you've helped people with emotional eating?
Absolutely. So way back when, and I mean a long time ago, I grew up as somebody very obsessed with food, very obsessed with weight.
Yes.
I felt like I was fatter than my friends. I hated it. I had a roll in my tummy that I used to scrunch up in my hands and think, can I cut this off? It's just fat. You know how you cut fat off the side of a steak? So I'm like, maybe I can cut it off. So thank God I didn't try that. But I was so frustrated because I tried to lose weight and I'd gain the weight back. And I like to binge. I mean, I didn't mean to binge, but I did like to sit down with ice cream and chips, right? You got to have salty with your sweet and in front of the TV. And so I would go overboard time and time again. And I just had a hard time sticking to a healthy eating plan because I was so addicted, honestly, to sugar and carbs, processed carbs, popcorn. I would eat huge bowls of popcorn in front of the TV. So that's kind of how it went for me, but I hated being overweight. And by age 21, I was 50 pounds overweight and really unhappy. And no diet worked, no exercise plan worked. And what happened, Sherry, is I ran into somebody. I was blessed to meet somebody, a man who had been morbidly obese and lost the weight through really spiritual and emotional means. So he did a deep dive and healed really spiritually, and it healed, helped him overcome his weight struggles. He lost 100 pounds and kept it off literally for 40 years. So he showed me, because I was like a hopeless case. Like I felt like, God, I've tried all these diets. I've tried all these different hacks. Nothing's working. Maybe I'm the person who can't get it. Like maybe I'm just defective and can't get it. But I learned that wasn't the case. I just was going about it the wrong way. Like I was focusing on the symptom of food and weight and not on the real problem, which is why was I compelled to eat time and time again, even when I knew better. I mean, I wasn't stupid. Like I knew salads were healthier than pizza, right? And potato chips, but that's what I craved and I couldn't stop craving. And when I craved it, I just couldn't stop myself. So anyway, he helped me. And then I was able to lose the weight and keep it off. And for many years, actually a couple decades, we worked together to help other people heal at this deeper level. Yeah. And so he really changed my life. And then we were blessed to help many, many other people. And then what happened is eventually we help people with all different kinds of addictions, because when you go to the root of the problem, it really doesn't matter what the addiction is. Like it can be food, alcohol, drugs, porn, it doesn't really matter. It's a soul sickness. And that's what needed to be healed. But then I really wanted to help people who struggle with food and weight specifically, because to me, that's the hardest thing to overcome, because you have to eat, right? You can't just put the plug in the jug like with alcohol. Like you have to literally take your addictive substance out of the refrigerator 3 times a day and then somehow deal with it and put it back in without going overboard. So that takes a deeper dive. That takes more healing in my experience, spiritually and mentally and emotionally. So he showed me how to do that. And I decided to like codify everything we used to teach people in our living room, just one person to the next. I codified it. I wrote a book about it. I did a TEDx talk on it. And I created a program online where I show people all over the world, mostly women, how to heal their relationship with food. Not diet, like get off the diet track. Heal your relationship with food, how you relate with food. And that's, it's not food we're really hungry for. It was not sugar and carbs I was hungry for. I had a spiritual hunger, a much deeper hunger. And when we address that, then we can have a more balanced and sane relationship with food, more peaceful relationship with food.
Absolutely. But, many of us struggle with that over the years. And, we want to get beyond that. And it's emotional, people eat for different reasons, but emotion seems to be a big one.
It's a huge one, and we don't realize it. Like when I first heard the term emotional eating, I'm like, well, that's just silly. Like I like food. That's it. End of story. But then I started to observe my relationship with food. It was very emotional. Like I had this emotional compulsion to sidle up beside heavy fattening foods. Like I loved them, and I would go out with friends to a Denny's or a Friendly's. I'm from the Northeast, so Friendly's ice cream, and my friends would order a sandwich which would come with a side of fries, and they would eat their sandwich and pick up their fries. Well, I would eat my fries and pick up my sandwich. So I'm like, there's something different about how I relate to food. And I look at them and I think, how could you ever leave a French fry on your plate? That's just wasteful, right? Never mind the sandwich. And so I really saw that I was drawn to food differently than many of my friends. And, my late night binges I would have at night, I wasn't hungry, physically. But I needed something. I craved something, like some comfort, some companionship, some distraction from myself. But it was really from my feelings and my thoughts. I just wanted to check out. And food binges did that for me. So it really isn't food we're hungry for. And it is definitely, I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. When I was in a stressful situation, I would stress eat. And stress eating, emotional eating, to me, they're all kind of the same. It's we use food to mitigate our feelings, to not feel or to feel better. And that's all emotional eating. So many people are like, oh, I don't do that. But think about it. If you eat to feel better, it's not to cure hunger. You're eating to give yourself a boost, to make yourself feel better. You want to, what's wrong with how you feel? Well, I don't want to feel how I'm feeling. So I'm going to change it by eating something yummy and entertaining, right? That's emotional eating.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, like I said, many people do it. They're not really aware that it's deeper than just the food, what they put in, and why they're eating what they're eating. And it becomes you stuff it, you just stuff it,
Yeah. Yeah. So let me give you kind of, for those who are like, I don't know if that's me, I'm going to give you something I call the PEP test.
Ooh.
PEP is an acronym.
Okay.
And we know what unhealthy foods, carbs, ice cream, chips, hamburgers, French fries, we know what these foods do to us. They clog our arteries, right? They make us overweight. They give us diabetes. We know it does to us. I want to pivot and talk about what it does for us. And this is a way we can start understanding this. So the first P in PEP stands for painkiller. So we use food to basically kill our emotions, to stuff and to numb. And, life is painful. So it's not like, oh, give me that chocolate, I'm going to kill my pain. We don't think like that. We're like, chocolate, I love chocolate. But, if you think about emotions that are tough, like having a conflict with somebody you love, or having, a dysregulated kid that, is always needing your help, or a parent, I have aging parents, parents who their bodies are breaking down, and then we're responsible for hooking them up with their doctors and that kind of stuff. That becomes tough, or a mother has dementia. It's like that creates stress in our lives. That creates painful emotions, sad emotions, grief emotions, feeling isolated and alone. So there's many life situations that bring on pain, and then we use food to comfort ourselves. So that's the P, the first P in PEP. The E in PEP stands for escape. And my experience is, as overeaters, we tend to be overdoers and overthinkers. And so we tend to, our minds are like racing because we're racing around, right? Like chickens with our head cut off. But our mind is so overactive, like overthinking. What did she mean by that? Why did he look at me that way? Why wasn't I invited? Like, how am I ever going to get it all done? Like, nobody's doing their part. I'm doing it all. Like, our minds never shut off. And so eating, and for me, it was always in front of the TV, but it could be in front of the internet, on Facebook, reading articles, right? Or, Netflix. It's like we want to shut our minds down because they are relentless. Like, they are just bombarding us. And it's not with like happy thoughts. It's usually fearful thoughts. Like I call it awfulizing, like what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my home in the hurricane? What's going to, how am I going to get by? How am I going to pay the bills? It's like constant worry and stress. And so we just want to, we want to break. We want to break from our own minds. So that's the E in PEP. The third letter, P, the second P in PEP, stands for punishment. Ooh. Which seems, right? Like it seems counterintuitive because we think of food as a reward. Like, oh, I'm working so hard this week. At the end of the week, I'm going to get myself this beautiful meal with my favorite, pastry. So we're planning out our little binge, our little I deserve it binge. But the thing is, we feel guilty. And so what happens is, we don't just eat what we plan on eating. We go overboard because once you get started, it's hard to stop. And this is true for emotional eaters. Like emotional eaters tend to go overboard, tend to eat more than they plan, tend to stuff themselves till they feel sick and they're lying on the couch and just want, who want to pass out. So we punish ourselves. We start with a reward and it turns into punishment. And begs the question, why would we do that to ourselves? Like we feel stuffed and sick. We cancel brunch with our girlfriends the next day because we're bloated. It's like, it is not good behavior, right? And it doesn't feel good. And we punish ourselves because overeaters are also overfeelers. And we feel guilty about everything. And we tend to beat ourselves up. And with food, it's like, it's a built-in painkiller, but it's also a built-in punishment. And so the PEP, painkiller, escape, and punishment, this is a way for people to start kind of tapping in. Like, am I really hungry? Or what am I really hungry for? What's really going on? And this is a conversation we need to start to have. Otherwise, we're like, oh, I just like chocolate, or I just have a craving for ice cream. It's actually not just that. And of course, food is yummy. But the thing is, it is deeper, and we can start taking the PEP test and just start thinking, is there something I'm feeling uncomfortable about? Am I stressed over something? Did I have a little tiff with my spouse? Am I feeling bad about that? Or am I just am I worried and obsessing about a problem that I need to take good action around? Like maybe write out our thoughts and feelings, talk to a girlfriend about. It's like there's more productive and healthy ways of coping. It's just our go-to has always been food. So that needs to change. And you can take this PEP test, start kind of asking those important questions to start pivoting from just eat over everything to let's get curious about what's really going on and take constructive action.
Exactly. Healthy actions. I like how you said, change it to a healthy action, address the issue, but have tools, because people need tools. Some of them are just numb, they're not really aware that they kind of on some level know it's emotional, but they're not really looking at it, but I like how you said, change it to a healthy habit. That's been like a norm for so many people throughout their life.
And the habit part is deeply, deeply ingrained. I mean, most of the women I serve, they're our age, looks like we're kind of, around the same age, 50s, whatever. I find that, most of the women in their 50s, 60s, they have been doing this for decades, literally. I mean, I started very young. And so it is such an ingrained habit. We have neural pathways that are deeply ingrained. And this is what has to change. And we change it by creating new habits, but we need support to do that. Like, we're not going to change like a lifelong addictive habit overnight. Okay. It's going to take time. And we typically, because we've been dieting forever, we have this quick fix mentality, like give it to me now. And if it's not done in 2 weeks, I'm quitting. Right. So we need to give ourselves patience, but we also need to work hard at the right things. We're typically working hard on a diet. Diets will always fail us because diets only address the symptom of food and weight. Overweight is a symptom of overeating. Overeating is a symptom of what's eating me. So we have to start addressing that part. And so getting around other people who are doing this, like community, is really important because this is also a lonely condition. We tend to overeat alone. I always did it at night. Nighttime eating was a problem, because we're ashamed of our eating behaviors. We don't want anybody to see us. I would drive around in the car, pick up binge foods from 7-Eleven, listen to talk radio, and just drive and then throw out the remains of my binge and then go home like nothing happened. So it's very secretive and shameful for me. All the more reason why we have to have community. We have to have other sisters who are on this path with us in order to get the encouragement and support to heal at a deeper level.
Absolutely. I mean, you're hitting it right on the nail, and you're really unraveling the issue too. It's unraveling it is what I'm seeing. And you really got to get to the core. When you mention the core, you're right on the nose with that. You really got to get what is the issue, address it. And, you can get beyond that, but help, coaching, be educated, be re-educated. And I think this is really good.
Yeah. And many people think that you have to go to 20 years of therapy to get over it, or it's because of this one trauma that happened in their past. My experience is that's not the case. This is a habit that's built. It started maybe with some difficult things in our childhood, for sure. Abuse is very common for emotional eaters. I had sexual abuse in my past, which certainly contributed to my eating patterns. But what happens is we develop coping skills, coping tools when we're young, like that are survival skills, like they save their life. And food is one of them. Other things like people pleasing, being controlling, right? Like managing everybody's affairs. Like these are all things that helped us cope as children when we didn't have a lot available to us. And then they stick to us. And then we bring them into our adulthood, and then they backfire on us because people pleasing causes overeating. Like if you're running around trying to make everybody happy and try to get validated, it's going to backfire because you're not only exhausted and eating erratically because you're doing too much and stuffing your calendar with too many people pleasing activities, but also you're resentful because nobody's ever as pleased as we plan on them being, right? And so the coping tool of people pleasing, it is outworn, it's welcome, and it's contributing to our eating. So I often say, Sherry, it's really a living problem, not an eating problem. Meaning,
exactly.
We all know what to eat. We all know, we should be eating greens and healthy proteins and healthy fats. Fine. Okay. But we don't. And the reason why is because we're creating stress in our life unnecessarily. We have very broken coping tools, which are creating, loneliness, isolation and this kind of thing. And then we're consoling ourselves with food. So we have to, again, get to the bottom of it. But it's not like you have to go diving into your deep past and trauma. Like my experience is we're living right now. We can make changes right now. Make changes in how we do things right now. We need support to do that. But that's going to be the key is we can start there, create more self-caring habits, and self-care is the name of the game. Like we have to come over to our side. We have to stop fighting ourselves, stop sabotaging ourselves, and start really having new habits of self-care, self-love, and also putting boundaries in our time, stopping the people pleasing. Like there's a lot of boots on the ground actions that we can take that will directly affect our relationship with food. And they have nothing to do with food. So that's the thing is you don't have to work hard on your diet. You've done that. It hasn't worked. It's not to say you can eat hamburgers and fries every day and heal, there's a balance. But at the same time, if we don't address the living problem, we're probably not going to overcome the eating problem.
Yeah, I love the perception to see it in a different way of really what's happening.
Yeah.
It's easy to say my diet, but it's so much layered than that,
Yes,
and
very
when you're
weird.
willing to look at that and really make the changes, you empower yourself. You
Yeah,
literally empower yourself and you're free.
absolutely.
And I think it's amazing what you are doing. I was so impressed, reading about you when I got your download and everything. And I thought, wow, she's amazing. I'm really glad she's out there shining her light, making a difference in the world, but really taking the Band-Aid off. Take the
Yeah.
Band-Aid off. That's what I like to say. And really
Yep.
look at it, and really make the changes in your life that you will just love, and you will feel good about yourself. You will empower yourself. You'll shine, and you'll be uplifting others when you change. You uplift yourself and love yourself. I think this is so cool because you get to the core. When you said the word core, she's got it right on the nail. She's good. And
Yeah.
you're authentic. It's about being authentic, being true
Yeah.
to who you are. But, we're all so programmed. We all have our own life experiences and they're all different, but they have a similarity, silver lining, I say, on some of them,
Absolutely.
what in your life made you shift? I know you hit a little bit about it. Was there something in particular that really said, okay, I can't keep doing it this way?
Yeah, I mean, for me, actually, it was at a time when I had lost a bunch of weight. I'd gone on this really strict food plan. I was weighing and measuring my
Yeah.
food. I was like, kind of like had this Nazi food plan, and I began to slip. So I did that for 9 months, and then I started to nibble and snack and lose control. And this was after I'd lost 40 pounds.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and so what happened, Sherry, is I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Like I'm about to
Okay.
put the weight back on. So it was actually after I'd lost weight, but I was a yo-yo dieter, and several times I'd lost weight and gained it back. And it's such a humiliating experience because everybody's complimenting you and they're like, oh, you look so great. And then they see you 5 months later and it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of shame involved in being an emotional eater. So what happened is I started to slip and slide and think, oh my God, I'm about to go back up the scale again. I've already done this
Okay.
several times. Like I can't keep doing this. Like I can't spend my entire life going up and down the scale, having
Right.
five different sizes of pants in my closet because I never know what size I'm going to be. Like this has to stop. And honestly, that was kind of a prayer. Like I didn't mean it to be a prayer, but I was sort of like, I can't do this. I can't, there's got to be a better way. And God heard my prayer. God heard my prayer. And within days, I ran into this person who mentored me and helped me heal. And I carry on the work that I got from him. He's since passed, God rest his soul, but
Yeah.
he saved my life and changed my life. And so my passion is to carry on everything I learned from him and to help women and men. I have men come to me. It's just much more rare.
Yeah.
And so I have, the beautiful thing is I put together a step-by-step system based on what I did to heal. And I still do it. Like I'm not cured, like
Okay.
that tiger can, bust out of the cage if I don't do the things that I teach my clients to do. I've helped over 1,000 women heal their relationship
Yeah.
with food. I have over 2 million views on my TEDx talk. I mean, I have people who are changing their lives, and I just laid it out in a very simple step-by-step process that I teach and that I'm sharing next weekend in my event, Make Peace with Food. And the thing is, it takes all the mystery around it because so many people are like, oh, you have to love yourself. Yeah, but how do you love yourself? Like,
Yes,
oh,
exactly. You can say that, but people,
yeah,
they haven't loved themselves and they don't know how. It's like a little
yes,
foreign. They just don't remember.
yes. So we
And
have
I
to
think what
take
you're
it
doing is
step.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. We have to take it out of the nebulous, out of the
Yeah.
woo, and just bring it down to brass tacks. What do I do? How do I
Right.
do it? And it's
Yep.
not around food and diet because we've had a lot of, we have diet
Right.
trauma.
Hmm.
So diet dogma. It's really like, how do I live my life in such a way that
Right.
it's not setting me up to fail, setting me up to self-sabotage? And that's what my clients are doing. That's what I teach in my events, and it makes all the difference.
And you have an event coming up. Can you tell our audience who's watching how they can get a hold of you? We're going to have information on our website, absolutely. But we also want people to go to your site where how can they get on this event? Is it a webinar or is it in person? And you also help people individually.
So what I have found is that there's power in community, and we crave community. Like, we are eating food as a replacement for connection. Like, we're emotional eaters or emotional beings, right? We crave at a deep level to connect. You know, we're scared of it. We got fear of intimacy. Like, don't get too close. Like, don't know me too much, because we have shame and we have things about ourselves we think nobody would understand, which is totally not true. We're quite common, you know, but the thing is, we crave community. So I do most of my work in community. I have an event next weekend, which is a great example of this. It's called Make Peace with Food. Love your body, love your food, love your life. It's October 18th to 20th. It's on Zoom, so people can attend from anywhere in the world, but it is a retreat. Okay, it's like going to a 3-day retreat. So you have to block out the time, tell your family, this is me time. I need to focus on me and my relationship with food so I can be a better me, so that you guys can get the happiest version of me, not the snappy, bitchy, grumpy, you know, stressed out, tired, you know, post-binge me, but somebody who's feeling good about herself. So give your family the gift of taking these 3 days for you. And we do it on Zoom, and it's 3 full days. Well, the first day starts at noon PT, which is 3 Eastern time. But the point is, it is so special, and it's because it's love your body, love your food, love your life. I have a cooking demo that we're doing. We have a movement session, breath work session, and then I am going deep. I am teaching on emotional eating. People are going into breakouts on Zoom so they can talk with their sisters online and feel that connection. There's a workbook that comes with it, and each day you can take notes, tons of notes. You know, but it is really powerful, and people won't be the same on day 3 as they were on day 1. It is really beautiful, super yummy, and nothing to do with diet and exercise. Like, we'll do some movement sessions, but so we can start making peace with our bodies, because we have diet, like, we really are scarred by the dieting lifestyle. You know, can I eat that? Is this good? Is this bad? All the black and white, good and bad. We're going to toss that out. We're going to do some healing around that diet dogma and trauma. And then we're also going to help you rewire, start the pathway, like changing the pathways in your brain. You know, we're going to be addressing what's really causing us to crave food, you know, and what's going on there. So it's a packed 3 days, so worth it. And we've made the price almost nothing. So we have an early bird price. If people can just click on the link that you provide, sign up. There's a VIP option that is, when you first sign up, you'll be taken to a page where you can sign up for half price on the VIP, where you get the recordings, you get a special video. We have special sessions just for VIPs during the event, you know, so that it's incredibly special.
Wow, this is so exciting. We are so happy to have you on our show. We love you. This is so needed. And we want to say thank you to Tricia Nelson, who is a TED Talk speaker and leader in her field. You don't want to miss this. This is life-changing. But she gives you a method to really live it and really make the difference in your life instead of it being yo-yo. I mean, she really takes the Band-Aid off. And you could really see the issue and move forward with more freedom in your life, more authenticness, more joy and healing and shining your own light. You definitely don't want to miss this. You can go to her information. Can you tell how people can contact you again?
Yes, my website is healyourhunger.com, HEAL, healyourhunger.com. On there, you can find the event. You can also find my podcast and my book and my TEDx talk. So that's a great place to go. On Instagram, I'm at Tricia Nelson _. I have very inspirational posts and videos and that kind of thing. But the Make Peace with Food event, I think you're going to share a link to that. That is so special. It's so inexpensive. The biggest cost is time, like devoting yourself, cutting out the distractions, being there, being present, and letting the healing wash over you so you can finally make peace with your relationship with food.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone who's watching this, you don't want to miss this. Free yourself, empower yourself, and live life more fully. This is so huge. And I really love what you're doing. I think this is fantastic. And I know you've helped thousands of people in your life, and you'll continuously do that. And thank you so much, Tricia. And tell everybody to go to www.sherrylord.com. We also have her information there. You can click on it and get to her site as well. And let your friends know, bring a friend, because this is life-changing. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Tricia. Blessings, abundance, and prosperity to all. Thank you so much.